School Board meeting to order. Everything you need to know about this meeting can be located on the web at rockridgepublicschools.org or tonight's agenda by the door. I would ask everybody to please stand and recite the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Let the record reflect that Director Sorkin had just texted me that she won't be here. Okay. Can I get a motion to approve the agenda?
And do you want me to remove?
Okay.
I'd like to.
Yeah.
I'd like to remove.
504.
504.
Yeah, but what number is it? The five.
It'd be in the blanket. It'd be in the policies, second reading policies.
Okay.
Kind of,
I want to remove policy 504 because it's incorrect.
Reason, members of the board, just, there's some typos in there, so when you read it, it really says students can have hair like this, but it's in the wrong spot. So let us clean it up. We'll get you a better version for the next board meeting. Okay. So that's why we're asking to let us fix it so it looks the way it's supposed to.
And I apologize to people who have made contact with us because we obviously missed it as it went through in the last meeting. So I apologize for that.
Me as well. With that,
I'll make a motion to adopt as amended.
second.
motion by Director Rickman, second by Director Yuan. Any discussion?
I just have some discussion on the policies. We had talked the last time that we would do a first reading, let that reading run through, and then have a policy meeting before the second reading. So I just have a comment on that. Tim said let the first reading run through and then we can have a policy meeting, but we haven't had one.
And there is a member of the policy committee who told me that they were going to get back to me, and I'm still waiting for that individual to get back to me.
Okay.
So after the second reading, I will schedule a policy committee meeting because it takes 3 readings for it to become policy. So
Okay.
it's not policy, nothing is policy
Right.
yet. It's on the third.
Right. Understood.
I will schedule
I
it.
just wanted to clarify that.
Yep.
With any more discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes unanimously. Recognition of visitor input. We have 2 people. We have Frank Hoddernick and Heath Bowe. Frank, you're up first. And just to let the public know that we've been told that Frank does not represent the city of Evelyn.
No, I can't, because if I sue you for trying to buy that building, that would be a conflict of interest.
Oh, I don't,
There you go. There's the, I did a breakdown of the Virginia contract
3 minutes.
3 minutes start. For your effective rates. There's some math in here. First of all, everything's done in the blocks of 50 hours or 100 hours, and I don't know why you would make that same mistake again, like the $25,000 mistake you made last year, and not contract with the city of Virginia for 350 hours, but put in the contract that whatever you don't use carries over to the next season. Or contract for 100 hours and tell them, bill us at the end of the season for what we actually use. Because this word commitment on here can be replaced with the words non-refundable contract, because that's what these are. This contract ends on March 31st, 2024, according to the contract. There's no carryover clause. If you buy 100 hours from them, your effective rate is $483 an hour. If you buy 300 hours from them, you're going to pay $238 an hour. Okay? You made the mistake last year of buying a block of time, not using it, and losing it. So now you have an option to not do that again. And the other thing I found very curious is that less than a 100-hour commitment is $175 an hour for the school district. But if you're a member of the general public and you call ITMEC and ask them, we want to rent ice time, it's $150 an hour. And this is the email I received from them today. So you're a special kind of customer that they get to charge more money to. Because the general public can rent it for $150 starting for 1 hour, but you pay $175. I know you have an arrangement with the City of Evlith for hours and City of Virginia for hours, but don't make the same mistake again and buy a chunk of time, not use it, and lose it. You know you need about 375 to 380 hours. Structure your purchase as the consumer, structure your purchase so that you don't do that. I'm sure the City of Virginia will work with you if you tell them carryover hours. I'm sure they'll work with you if you tell them we'll pay you for 100 up front and then you bill us at the end of the season down to the minute of what we use. I know you're probably ignore me and just vote the way you vote, but at least you know the information.
Thanks, Frank.
Thank you.
Up next to Heath Bow.
Good evening, school board directors. My name is Heath Bow, for those of you who don't know me. I live in Fayette Township. I have 2 kids that attend Rockridge High School this fall, and I am the co-president of the Football Boosters. That's the organization I'm representing tonight. First, thank you for this opportunity for public. I really appreciate it. The Football Boosters are really concerned about practice space. We have tons of kids out for football. We have 5 teams. In the varsity, JV, C team, 7th grade, 8th grade. They all need practice space. We have 1 line field, and that's just not quite going to cut it. Later on in this meeting, you're going to discuss buying soccer goals. And that would be a great opportunity to have soccer programs being able to be here at Rockridge High School. They need practice space too. 1 line field is not going to cut it for a football program, a boys soccer program, and a girls soccer program. It's a great problem to have though, as a board, right? You have kids that are interested in extracurriculars here at Rockridge High School. So we have a couple of solutions for additional practice space. First, more stadium over in Evelyn, keeping that stadium and using it as a practice facility or maybe for lower level games. Second, lining softball and baseball fields temporarily. Being able to use that space for practice space, play the games up on the stadium. Third option, south of the stadium, Laurentian Elementary, you could put a grass field there. Requires a bit more time and effort, financing, to be able to have some space up there for practice. Please consider all 3 of those options. If you're going to use more stadium, you have to provide transportation there and back for these teams to practice. Second thing is, concern that I want to bring forward is we were told that we could not hang up our sponsorship banners up at the new stadium for our football program. We have proudly displayed the banners of our sponsors in years past. Even last year at Moore Stadium, we had those sponsorship banners up. It's a good relationship we have with the smaller business community in our area. They've supported our program for years. We were told we could not put those banners up, even after sending out emails, getting messages. We've even got renewals already that have come in. I'd like to put those banners up to give that recognition to our sponsors. All that money goes back into the football program. Please allow us to put those banners up. That is it, all I have. Thank you very much for your time and attention tonight and for being partners with us in providing these great opportunities for our students. Thank you.
Thanks, Heath.
Thank you.
Thanks. Under 3 minutes.
Yeah. Is there anybody else in the audience that would like to speak? Okay, with that being said, we're going to move on. Okay. The consent agenda. Can I get a motion to approve the consent agenda?
So moved.
By Director Reardon.
Second.
So, it's right. Second by Culver Dahl. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Okay, reports, we're up to Covenant. You are up.
Administration,
That's on the end.
That's later.
5-1.
I think that.
Okay, you.
Talking on,
Reports, okay.
yeah.
Pete's under 5-1, okay.
Yeah. You should have a discussion about those banners.
Well, good evening. How's everybody tonight?
Good.
Good.
Feel a little time while we wait for the slides to warm up here. There we go. So obviously you know that we're here to present the bids for the Phase 2 mechanical upgrade project happening on the north end of this building. We did get some good bids in. I think we're within the budget that we figured we would. So as we go through that, Garrett is going to take us through, explain the project a little bit more in depth, and then present the number and then ask for approval at the end. All right, take it away, Garrett.
All right, so the agenda today is why is the mechanical upgrade necessary? We'll go through the Phase 2 mechanical upgrade, the project layout, milestone schedule, and bid results. Then we'll have time for questions. So why is the mechanical upgrade necessary? The existing ground mounted RTUs are at the end of their useful life. It was costly maintenance that's required. It improved reliability. The current units have had several breakdowns, moisture and mold issues in existing units. School Board Facilities Committee direction to move units inside the building to extend the lifespan of the new units, improve indoor air quality, energy efficiency of the new modern units, and improved heating and cooling controls for when future remodeling takes place. So here's the existing HVAC plan, and we'll be looking at the Phase 2 mechanical room in the northeast corner of this building.
Why don't you show where we are right now, so they know where they are? We're right there.
In there. So yeah, here's that northeast corner blown up, and you can see where the 2 new air handler units will be installed and the associated ductwork and piping that goes along with those. With the Phase 2 upgrade, there will be also exterior site work. So all around the perimeter of the building, we'll be removing 4 inches of topsoil and installing 4 inches of new topsoil. Along the west and south side of the building, we'll be placing sod and plantings. And then alongside the east and north side of the building will be seeded grass. And then we'll be demoing the existing concrete pad, screen wall, and mechanical units for all 10 locations around the exterior of the building.
So a big reason for the exterior improvements is, like Garrett just said, we're going to be removing all those units. So we're going to be back there with the equipment and kind of tearing it up. So it made sense then to dress it up a little bit, especially on the west side and then where the Orthopedic Associates is on the south. And then seed all the back and grade it out nice back to that ditch. So
There's also some bathroom renovations included in Phase 2. So in the single bathrooms, we'll be demo and replace the new vanity and sink, demo the existing window treatment, replacing with new one, and removing the bathroom partition walls.
and those bathrooms are right over, right when you come into canopy there.
And then the public restrooms will be replacing fixtures like for like, and we will reuse the existing sanitary vent and domestic water piping. So here's the Phase 2 bid results. We're looking at a grand total of over $1.3 million. As you can see, over half of that is in the mechanical work scope, and included within that is the air handler, 2 air handler units, 2 condensing units, energy recovering units, roof cutting and patching, controls associated with the new equipment, plumbing fixture replacement, and demo of the existing mechanical units. So the milestone schedule for Phase 2 is the board approval today. The project start will be at the beginning of October, and substantial completion is June 2024. The reason for that is the long lead time on the air handler units. We're looking at 34 weeks out, and the site work that will take place in the spring 2024. So we're going to be reusing existing ductwork as much as possible with minimal demo. The heating and cooling units will be demoed out as they'll no longer be required.
Those are the units that serve the center of this building right now, so.
And then, yeah, so we'll be reusing as much of the existing ductwork as possible and minimizing the amount that we do have to demo. Then the water piping will be hooking up with what we did in phase 1, and then hooking that up to the new air handler units.
So the complicated part about the piping is we actually have to use supports off of the existing columns in the building. So we had to do more structural engineering and come up with a support in order to get that piping from phase 1 all the way to phase 2.
But it does allow us to keep all our boilers in one location for maintenance.
Yep, in phase 1 as well.
For the gas.
Okay.
And then here's what the roof plan will look like with the air handler units and condensers. And the mechanical equipment list for this upgrade will be 2 air handler units, 2 condensers, and 2 energy recovery units. Then some other scope items that are included in phase 2 is all associated disconnections of pipes and duct, masonry infill of 9 openings on the exterior walls.
One of those is being taken care of in phase 1 at the OA side. So when they open, they have a nice clean wall there.
And roof patching for mechanical and structural penetrations, sealing of concrete in the new mechanical room, removal and reinstallation of ceiling panels, grid, in occupied spaces, electrical work associated with the new equipment, installation of new lights in the mechanical room, building new walls in the mechanical room, patching and touching up of existing walls if damaged as a result of mechanical work, 1 new door and 1 existing door to be moved to a new location, minor demolition of existing conditions that includes doors, ceiling, walls, casework, etc., like-for-like replacements of the bathroom fixtures, removal of the existing RTUs, screens, and slabs, and the installation of topsoil, sod, seed, and plantings around the entire perimeter of the building.
So as you can see, compared to phase 1, there's a few different scopes. So we have the selective demolition, we get the earthwork scope, and then a little bit more extensive drywall scope as well.
One of the good things that they did on the design to reuse as much existing ductwork as possible is those connections, as you saw on that one, are back here. So we're not going into these offices too much. We have 1 connection, I think. That's
You got 1 run that comes down that side of the building. It'll be minimally invasive.
So that's our presentation about the mechanical upgrade.
Can you go
phase
back
2.
to the pricing slide, please?
Yeah.
I want them to see that. And if they have any questions about subcontractors there. And I know you had this in your board packet, but sometimes we talk about who got what and how was the pricing. We have the low price here, and then you've got the second price. So.
Any questions for Carl Sanderson?
Is there a reason we only got 1 bid on certain scopes? Is that,
Yeah, there's a combination of issues there. Some just weren't interested in the project, too small maybe for their scope of work. Some couldn't fit it into their schedule because of the busy bidding.
yeah,
And some didn't have the capacity to actually perform the work during that time frame. So kind
okay.
of a mix.
So you think these are all in line, pricing is in line?
Yeah, we did an extensive bid evaluation, especially when we only get the 1. We really drill down and make sure that they got everything covered and make sure they're comfortable with their number too. So
Okay.
I think one of them just plain forgot.
yeah, one did. Yeah,
The electrical one sticks out to me that you couldn't get more than 1 electrical bid.
yeah, that was one where they forgot.
Okay.
I don't want to go any farther than that.
Any more questions for Kraus Anderson?
Lead time, we're lucky we got the new system for Orthopedic Associates.
Yeah.
Our
so
lead time's a lot longer than theirs was.
On the lead time there, these air handlers are larger. And so we had to go to a different brand,
Okay.
to a York, and those tended to be longer. We did do some checking once we found out the lead time, and we haven't come up with anything better yet. So
Okay.
the other air handling units for the first phase, we were able to keep them smaller and used a different brand that was about 16 weeks or so. Yeah.
One thing that we're seeing too on deliveries is before they were giving shorter durations and then they were missing it and they kept extending. What we are seeing now, not that you can go to the bank on this, is they're tending to give us the long one and then they show up sooner. So that's a good sign that we're recovering in that whole supply line thing, but it is possible that we get them sooner. Either way, we have to come back in the spring and do the site work. So.
And yeah, as far as the schedule, you saw that we're going to start in October still, and because we can get the room ready, we can do some duct work, get all of our lights hung, all that kind of stuff, and get as far as we can, and just wait for those units to come in the spring.
Any more questions for Kraus Anderson? Can I get a motion for 5.1?
I'll make the motion to approve.
Motion by Director Yuan, support?
Reardon?
Reardon? Any discussion? More discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes unanimously. Thanks, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Thanks.
So you didn't need the big guy after all.
Was waiting for that comment. You didn't let me down.
6.1, Mr. Speltz, you are up, sir.
Good evening. Thank you for this opportunity. I just wanted to give you an update on, pull it up on here, the Director of School to Work Engagement and the fundraising. So here we go, thanks to technology. Great car donation recently from Kirk and Angie Widener. Our auto department's going to put it to great use. They were very happy. I talked to them first, and yes, they wanted it. We got that. A great car donation for the kids to work on. I don't know if I've been here, but the do-bid auction, I think that's going to come up again. That got our district, $51,765 came in from the do-bid auction. So that was a great decision by us to take that time, make that time, run through all the hoops and loops, not necessarily with do-bid, but with all the construction and everything that went on. We got Duke to come in and do that, so we really appreciate them and look forward to doing the same with our Gilbert stuff that may be left over and Evelyn stuff that may be coming up. And we'll go along those same lines again, barring any decisions that someone tells me anything different. So,
Willie, one question, Willie. Did those basketball backboards ever get sold that the Proctor School District wanted?
Don't know that specific, can find it out.
Okay, because I saw like a picture on the Mesabi Daily News where it actually showed a backboard in a picture, not, in the part of the demolition process of abatement or whatever, and I saw those in there, and I would be.
Josh, do you remember? I don't mean to put you on the spot, but maybe not Proctor if they didn't talk to Josh and keep talking to Josh, because I think once we had to put it out on do bid, that broke that chance for them to just get it, and I don't know who got them. I can look to see if we sold them, so I can't tell you if Proctor got them or not. But once we went to do bid and put it out to everyone, they probably stopped chatting with Josh about just trying to find a way to get them.
Okay.
Good question. Recent donation from Allison Krybeck of $4,500 and $4,500 match from State Farm for their $9,000 annual donation. They're halfway through that 6-year agreement for the baseball field scoreboard. So thank you very much to Allison and State Farm. In our school to work engagement, I've been meeting with the career exploration teachers And I'm already starting to invite, pardon the eyes, starting to invite and schedule businesses and professionals to come in and speak to our career exploration classes. Remember, all of our ninth graders take a career exploration class to learn about our academies, to be introduced to many professions, to maybe ignite some interest, to maybe let them know, oh, I didn't know that's what it was. I think I'm going to try a different lane. And that's been going very well for 2 years. And now that we're all on one campus, I'm so excited that will increase the opportunities and availability of people. It was hard to get back and forth. Some were on Zoom when we were on 2 campuses. So I'm excited for that to explode this year and continue. We do that every Wednesday for every career exploration class. And if someone can't make it on a Wednesday, we'll schedule it on what day they can't come. Really appreciate all of the people who are excited contacting me. Willie, can I come again this year? That was really fun last year. Thanks for the opportunity. And spend time with our kids and support our academy model. So if anybody is out there who wants to come in and talk about their profession with our kids, please get a hold of me. It's very easy on the website. Continuous meetings every month with Essentia regarding curriculum and student opportunities. Thank you to Essentia for that. That happened all throughout the summer and happens every month. Had a great meeting with Orthopedics Associates recently to talk about their agreement, and they have 2 people that are extremely excited to get our students eventually into their clinic. They want to come and talk to our kids and our classes that matches. Working with the Laurentian Chamber president right now to create a student shark tank. It's early in the planning. We hope it can happen, but we're excited to do that. We'd love to host that sometime, even for the area, and at a minimum our school, and for the entire area, and showcase our wonderful facility.
It would be super cool.
Yeah, I think that would be great. So I'm looking forward to working with Teresa Applewick on that. And she's also a great resource for more companies to get our students off-campus experiences, some job shadowing, even some internships as we keep moving forward in the academy process. Have a great partnership developing with Living Well Therapy for athletic training experiences and physical therapy. Patrick Oltmans is the owner, and he reached out when he moved into town in Eveleth and said, I want to get into the schools. He came and toured. He's very excited about working with our athletes. He also offers, on the side, he offers professional training for athletes. And someone might say, when you live here, what do you need that for? Just get out there and work out. I mean, what do you need? No, you'd be amazed what's happening in the metro, what's happening in the Duluth Superior area, and now it's finally moving up to here. Opportunities to be professionally trained by people to increase your performance in athletics. It's going on everywhere. Except here right now. A lot of people are traveling to Duluth, so hopefully this will become an opportunity for our kids should people make that choice. We will be hosting the AMFA, Arrowhead Manufacturers and Fabricators Association, which is our Career and Tech Ed Jamboree this fall. Another group of people who want to come and check out our amazing facilities and programs they have been hearing about. This is a member-driven organization helping to strengthen and grow the manufacturing industry in northeastern Minnesota and northwestern Wisconsin. It was formed in '97 by a grassroots effort led by a handful of area entrepreneurs who felt the manufacturing industry would benefit from an organized effort, marketing and everything that goes with that. The founding membership of 11 companies has grown to more than 100 companies today. So I look forward to working with them, getting our kids those experiences, getting them out, them to see our kids, and our kids can move on and gain career opportunities post-high school. We've been given a ton of tours. Mark picked up some over the last couple weekends, and really appreciate that, Mark. But Johnny gave one, John Yuhan gave one this, part of one this 4th of July. So we've had many, many tours, and people are just blown out of the water by this facility. Not only is it a nice school, it's an incredible campus. And Mark will be hitting on something he shared with me earlier tonight that's kind of a neat statement. So, any questions?
Great job, though.
Yeah. Good job, Willie. Thank you.
Thanks, Willie.
Willie?
Up next, 6.2, Rockridge Parking Lot Rules and Policies with Mark Winter.
Good
Good evening, and thank you for letting me come speak to you a little bit about the parking. But before I do that, I do want to take the liberty, as Willie kind of alluded to, we received an email this morning from Mr. Tom Mavick, and he took place, I believe he was on one of the tours in the last few weeks. And he sent us an email today just requesting that we share a message with our students. So I just wanted to share that message. It's very brief, but what he sent to me today that I'm planning on sharing next week when our students come. It's Dear Rockridge High School students, congratulations as you enter an important part of your lives. As students from one of your foundation schools, we wish you success on your journey. We trust that you will be able to look back to your high school years with the fondness and gratitude that we have for that experience. We are fiercely united with you, the Evelyn class of 1963. So we do want to thank him for sending us that message. My plan is to share that with every one of our students in our class meetings that we have the first week of school. So kind of a neat thing that was sent to me this morning. Takes me into just as much excitement and neat things with the parking lot. So we are in the middle of parking. Obviously, as many of you know, that's probably the hottest topic I have on my plate right now. That's where we get all our phone calls currently is parking. And just a quick update, we did start selling parking passes last Wednesday to our seniors. We opened it up to juniors today. We will continue on Thursday at our open house to open it up for everyone. We have 295 parking spaces. So for students, we'll be selling 295 passes. As of this moment, we have sold 212 passes. Approximately 102 to seniors and just over 100 to juniors. So I don't know how many more juniors. Obviously, we sold, I think, one to a senior today. So for the most part, I think the seniors have made their purchases. Juniors flocked in this morning. We had 95 by noon today. So I think everyone was concerned about getting a parking pass today. We still have, obviously, 80 or so left. So we do believe that juniors will get a parking pass for sure. At some point, it is possible we'll run out for sophomores. But as of now, I'm pleasantly surprised. I thought we may be nearing the 250, 300 mark already now. So that's kind of where that stands. As we've been handing out passes, obviously we needed to have some rules, some directions, some guidelines for students. So that is what you have in front of you this evening that we just want to run by you. I would love to take all the credit for this, but I did researched some other schools, pulled some different ideas, some different items that really seem to pertain to us, and put it on a document that we're currently sharing and will change if we need to with our students. So with that, I would entertain any questions.
Any questions for Mr. Winter?
I do. Let's see, let me just gather my thoughts for a minute. Do we have any idea? So you think that the majority of juniors are probably done buying their passes. So looks like you have 83 left. So that would be for sophomores and maybe some more juniors.
Correct.
Okay.
Obviously, it's first come, first serve, and we said in the beginning we would open up to seniors as a priority, then to juniors, and then to sophomores.
And you have one more day for juniors or no?
Until Thursday, so 2 more days for juniors.
Okay. And then,
currently, we have about 55% of juniors have purchased a pass.
okay.
We're right at about 50% of the seniors purchased a pass.
So what is the thought about it not being able to be transferable?
The transferable is transferred if I have a car with a license plate, I can't put it into my buddy's car. I can put it into my parents' car, but not transferable that way. What we don't want is students going out selling parking passes on their own. So I've got a parking pass, I may not need it, I'll sell you mine for $50.
Oh, I see. Okay.
That's what the transferable.
I get it.
means.
Yeah, I mean, obviously I have a kid in 11th grade. So, and I think about, she may not need her pass she got one, but she may not need it as much, or we're not sure. Plus, she doesn't have a specific car, so we have like 3 cars for her to use. So I know she has to like tell someone each time she drives a different car, which is kind of inconvenient. I don't like that.
Or she could maybe give 2 friends one of the 3 cars and everybody'd be happy.
Well, she's PSEO. Yeah. Well, they're not like, yeah. One's my dad's car, so I'm sure he wouldn't appreciate that. But, because my thought was, if we didn't need it as much, then she could, give it to someone who did need it, I suppose. I mean, is there a grace to these rules at all, or?
The issue comes is we sold the number of passes we have for the cars. And we need to be able to track these vehicles if they're parking in the wrong places, if the pass was stolen, all of those types of things. And we just need to track it.
I know there's a lot of parents that are just really unhappy with this. So is there any way to like open up parking even by the baseball fields or anything like that? Was that thought about?
It was discussed. The issue comes, it's not plowed in the winter. There's no walkway plowed in the winter. All of that definitely comes into effect. The other issue is it's quite a ways from school, and to monitor and supervise down there becomes a very difficult task.
And what about the 1404 building? We can't park there? We can't make an agreement for that? If we need.
We did 2 weeks ago.
We did. make an
Oh,
agreement.
Till December.
Sorry.
Only till December, though.
Only till December.
Till the end of December.
So we are selling, how is that working?
Not for the 1404, because we talked about this extensively, because there's no guarantee on January 1st, 2024, we can use the 1404. And if we put students in there now, that means we have to take those away from them in January. And we just see that as being problematic. So we're trying not to put students over there. And so far, we think we have all of the juniors and seniors who want a parking pass will get one. And then some sophomores will get parking passes also. So a little bit, we think most people are going to get taken care of. And if someone, and I suppose we could talk about this, if a student doesn't use their parking pass anymore and don't need it, maybe they can turn it back in for a prorated amount, and then we will resell it.
Okay.
So we can monitor.
So when it comes to like selling the passes right now, so all the seniors are done, right?
They can still
No.
purchase one,
Okay, but they
priority is-
had the first 4 days, right?
Yes,
Okay, and then you opened it up for juniors.
yes.
So you're telling me a sophomore can come in? A senior can come in like when they're selling to juniors and still buy?
Yes.
Because I think that's kind of like unfair to the sophomores who might, it nibbles away at their chances of getting a, what I'm saying? If you didn't get here in the 4 days, you snooze, you lose, you got to wait.
What happens if they're on vacation?
Like I was last week.
Like he was last week and.
I sent my dad.
Yeah.
Okay, there you go, okay?
You gotta find workarounds.
And
You
wait.
got to find, no, I'm not making
Yeah.
waves, it's just that it's a pretty hot topic that there's people
It really-
out there that
it
they're
is,
sophomores that
yeah.
drive and they're afraid that they're not going to get a parking pass because, now if you're, I can see the seniors, first 4 days, okay, now you can't buy anything, okay, you got to wait till the sophomores get in. The juniors get in. Once they're done, you can. Then now it opens it up all to sophomores. And once they're done, then it's opened up to everybody.
We had one senior today. I don't think it's a big problem.
Yeah, we have 80 left, so.
Yeah.
Okay. But you still got, how many more days of juniors?
2 more for juniors.
How many?
2 more for
Okay.
juniors.
We're probably safe.
Hopefully we're safe. I know I have, friends and people that I know that live in, let's just say Britt, and they have kids in, sports, and they're not able to figure out ride share. So it's just a hot topic. People are feeling stressed about it. So I'm hoping that it all shakes out well. But thank you for all your effort that you've done on this.
Absolutely. And then in here, Mark, you talk about a lot monitor or some sort of We're not hiring somebody to,
No, we will use our current staff, and really, for the most part, it's the first few weeks that are working in the right places. But it's an occasional, we do have some hall monitors that we're gonna have them do a quick walk through the parking lot, obviously, just checking windshield visors, so
Okay.
it's a quick walk.
so with that being said, you're gonna buy a pass and you're gonna be assigned a particular spot.
You're assigned into particular lots, not a particular place.
Okay, all right.
Yep.
An idea would be to have a wait list, if they're on there.
Yeah, we
Yeah,
can have a wait list.
they do that a lot of.
That'd be a good
colleges,
idea.
And
Okay,
Any kind of warning before the first tow
Yeah.
job?
Obviously, we will give warnings, we will do that. That's why we do have the license plates, required license plates, so we've got it all in spreadsheets, so we can look it up, we can contact the student, give them a warning, okay, you need to move your car, this is the correct place. Because there are going to be some issues, there are going to be some somewhat confusion possibly. But on the flip side of that is staff also will have a parking pass, and there is staff parking where they have to park in their lot too. They can't park in student parking. So if you come late, there may be a spot closer to the building. If it's in student parking, you can't park there because that is a student spot. So if you purchased a pass, you're going to be guaranteed a spot somewhere in the lot.
okay. Any other questions for Mr. Winter? Perfect. All right, I think we got all the questions answered. Thanks, Mark.
thank you.
Up next, the Treasurer's report.
It's not me.
Just payment of the bills.
Just payment of bills?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll make a motion to accept
Okay,
as presented.
make a motion. Motion by Director Yuan, support by Director Addy. Any discussion on the Treasurer's report? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion passes unanimously.
Do we
Thank you
need,
for reading my report.
do we need to approve the parking lot policy?
I believe it would be beneficial to the high school staff if you did, in case they run into any issues with it. Like, who came up with these? I think it would help them if you did.
All righty, so we'll back up from 6.3 to 6.2 on Director Lotiger's request.
I'll make that motion to approve the parking lot rules
Motion by-
policy.
Motion by Director Lotiger, support by Director Addy. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion passes unanimously. Policies, the second reading of the policies, all but 504. Can I get a motion?
How about superintendent? We're doing,
I'm sorry.
You're going to skip me?
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Oh,
I'm sorry.
I've been
Noel.
rehearsing all week long.
Okay, all right.
I'm interested to see what,
I apologize.
about it.
I just kind of was, all right.
No, I know, no issue. And I knew you really missed one of my poor drawings, so I thought, I'm going to do it to you again. I've already tortured the teachers with it. You're going to get the speed version.
that's why they were giggling.
Yes, they're all giggle, they've seen it. So, and I'm going to only go over the most important thing, just so you understand what the teachers are hearing. And this is just big picture. Where is the district going? This is your strategic plan boiled down into my 4 pictures, but you remember them, and so the basic thing is there's 4 buildings, we're all coming together, there's all these little blocks. This is nothing new. You've seen these words before, you've seen these programs before, and they all go up to the top where the kids are, although I told the teachers there's one new thing I put on this sheet, and it is A1 Chat GPT. It's right at the bottom there, very thin. And the reason for that is we know it's going to impact education in some way. We don't really know how, but we know there's 2 approaches to it. First of all, A1 and Chat GPT and all those different versions that are coming, it is not going away. So we have 2 choices. One, we can either complain about it, that kids will cheat, that all this horrible stuff is going to happen, or we can figure out how to use it effectively in the classroom and use it effectively with writing, use it effectively with other things. So this is a tall task that in addition to everything else, our teachers are going to have to figure this out, how they can effectively use this. But the most important part, and they were over there today in the high school, all of them, and they're getting 3 days training on project-based learning. But the hardest job they're going to have with project-based learning is they have to combine direct instruction with project-based learning. This is where most schools get it wrong. This is where most schools can't do it. They can't marry direct instruction and project-based learning together. And you've heard me say this before. You have to teach kids something before they do project-based learning. You can't just say, kids, make a project, do whatever you want, and then I'll sit back here and go figure it out. That's not how it works. So you have to directly teach kids something in an area, and then kids will get project-based learning in areas. So it's not like you tell kids to do a project-based learning over anything they want. That's not how it works. So directly teaching kids is still really important. How do you do that? I'm glad you asked. On the back side of this one, you can see the storm clouds, et cetera, on the top. This is one of the best ways, research-based, to do direct instruction. Direct instruction does not mean, class, you've got 30 minutes, fill out the assignment. I'll check with you later on, or I'll be up here if you need a question. That is not direct instruction. Direct instruction is very simple. You can follow the clouds across all the way. It's simply telling them what you're going to do, what's the goal, what's the objective. You get their attention. You teach them briefly, and then the kids do something. They work around. You walk around the classroom, see how they're doing. Then you stop the class, and then you teach them again, go over stuff that maybe it looks like they're not getting. Then you turn them loose for a few more minutes. You walk around the class, then you stop them again, and then you reteach on something they're not getting, and you keep doing that. That is what direct instruction is. It's really hard to do. And so that's what direct instruction is. The bottom of the lake here, this is the lake of project-based learning. And we're going to skip that because that's what the teachers are spending 3 days on. So I didn't go into that. They didn't need to hear me ramble on about that. The next one with the two mountains, you've seen this before, except you've seen this on a house, Costa's house. Basically, there's a mountain on the left, mountain on the right. And on the left-hand side, 80% of all the instruction, and this is pretty typical, research shows this everywhere, this happens everywhere. It's all lower level stuff. Tell me about, list, define, complete, identify, recite. That's where most instruction takes place. Most instruction actually does not get to the top of the mountain. Compare and contrast, speculate, forecast, hypothesize. That's where the project-based learning comes in. That's the hard part to get to. So on the mountain on the right, what we're aiming for is you still have to teach kids some facts. Sometimes I don't buy this stuff that you can just Google it, and research is proving this. Sometimes you need to know some stuff. Can't Google everything. You need to know some stuff. So teachers still need to teach the bottom of the mountain. Then they want to go up and spend more time on the middle and the top of the mountain, because that's the hard stuff. These are the tough questions. And that's where the project-based learning, the final stuff, is going to come in. And every once in a while, you'll see some little ghost or monster somewhere. Those are there. That's just my analogy for something is going to go wrong. Something always doesn't go to plans. And so you have to be prepared for, things are going to happen. So just accept it and then figure it out. On the back side of this, teachers have seen this before, except I extended it to the high school. On the left-hand side, there's a whole bunch of different areas, including how many pages are first graders reading, how many pages are seniors reading, how many papers are kids writing, and all sorts of different things. There's math, technology, literacy, etc. So the idea is that as a kid goes through Rock Ridge, we should know from the time they start kindergarten and the time they graduate, how many pages did they actually write? How many pages of nonfiction did they actually read? We should be able to track that. And this requires, this is hard to do, by the way, this requires teachers talking to each other across grade levels, across disciplines, but we should be able to track this. So this is just an idea that the teachers have this, and we'll be covering that. The last one, it's the one that has the plate on the right. On the left, ignore the plate right now. Look on the one on the left. Marzano and Hattie, these are two of the preeminent researchers. You've seen this before, those of you who have been on the board for a number of years. We know what works. It's really not a mystery what works in the classroom. What you're looking there on the left, these are things that actually work. If teachers do these things and do nothing else, it's going to rock and roll. It's going to go really well. So what we want teachers to do is pay attention to the research and stuff that actually works and do that. So anywhere on there when teachers are trying to teach content, if they go anywhere on in any of those areas, it's going to be better. And that's where we want people to do. And this means you have to know what they are and pay attention to them. And then on the right, take things off your plate. We know that you just can't add stuff to people. You just can't say do more. You just can't say do this. So I am telling them to take stuff off of their plate. And there's a whole bunch of things listed here that you can see that we're encouraging teachers to take off the plate. So, and they don't have to do all of them, but some of them they certainly can do. And I'll go to some of them. And yes, research is dead on this stuff too. One is that teachers don't need to grade everything. They really don't. In addition to that, teachers don't need to give 17 tests during a quarter. They can give fewer tests, but those are important tests. Those are the ones you score and grade. And there's some other things here on there. For example, you heard me say this morning, spelling list. If you're giving a spelling list and you're doing vocabulary words, make sure that spelling list is actually words the kids are actually using in class, that they're learning in science and the other classes. Those are gold. So if your spelling list and your vocabulary list makes sense with what the kid is doing in the rest of the classes that year, that's where the gold is, rather than just a sorted spelling list that you buy off the internet or something like that. The one, and of course, this is hard to do because you have to talk to your neighbors, you have to talk to teachers, and you have to do that. That would be another example, giving stuff that's more effective and making sense. But we do know teachers need to take stuff off of the plate. Otherwise, it's just not doable. Last page, and then I'm done. And you've heard me say this before. If you've heard me, this is the one where you can look up where does this come from. If any of this stuff is wrong, and show me the research. Show me the research that's done that says that anything we're trying to do in Rockridge isn't right, that we're not heading in the right direction. Show me that research. You can see some authors, you can see some books there of stuff that's related to what we're doing, and then there's some quotes there that you can just read and peruse at this. So I'm giving this to you just so you can stare at it sometime and just look at it and just make sense, and just so you know what the teachers are seeing and what the teachers are doing, so you have an idea about things that they are experiencing. So that is the end of my superintendent's report. And fortunately for you, you are done having to look at my poor drawings.
I don't do that.
They're enjoyable.
They'll
They're enjoyable. I'm trying to skip over you. I would have done the board a disservice by.
I'm over it.
Okay. All righty, so up next is, thank you, by the way. Up next is policies. Can I get a motion to approve the policies minus policy 504?
I'll make the motion to approve.
Motion by Director Yuhan,
Support.
support by Director Reardon. Any discussion?
Just that we will have a policy meeting now after.
After this reading?
Yes, okay. I'm on board.
Any more discussion? Signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Passes unanimously with a policy meeting coming up in the near future, before the next board meeting. Administrative items. 8.1, consider approval FF&E for activities equipment. Presenter Josh and Chad Hazelton.
So we just have a bunch of needs that we thought we could use. You guys got the list in front of you, right? You can see the cost of a lot of these things, but to finish the batting cages down at the JV softball and baseball fields, that's roughly $78,000. If we are gonna get soccer, we need goals, we need corner flags. The 20,000, that'd be 4 soccer goals, they're about 5,000 apiece. Thinking the idea of 2 up here and then 2 on one of the baseball fields down there for practice. Corner flags are a must. We host games and for practices. Some yard markers and down markers and chains for the new field, that we need to get ordered. Runway protector mats. Those are going to protect the runways on the field, so we can put our team benches on there, which we also need team benches. There's 2 bids for team benches. One's aluminum. Dr. Schmidt kind of directed me what he wants, black, so I got a quote for black. On there, it's a little more expensive, but we would like to have the black benches to match the stadium. There's concession needs that I put in there from Kevin Johnson, $33,000 worth. They also, the booster clubs also want to be reimbursed for the stuff they already bought. That's all in that one packet you got for $8,500. There's fence top rail paddings. That's for the fences that are going in front of the dugouts. We're going to put paddings on top of that because right now, even the first ones that are up this year, the baseball ones, they're just getting bent by the kids that are using the dugouts. So these paddings will keep those fences secure. There's some pool needs there. We just thought we might need, if you want to touch on that, Jeff, for the pool needs, anything there that stands out?
Just some different things. We held our first meet in there last week, and it's the speakers. The athletes can't hear the starting horn. So there's individual speakers that actually plug into the system that we have. There's timing pads that would be on there. That's some of those things for relays and some different lane lines. The contrast and the lane lines are the least of the thing, but the contrast doesn't work well. They're too light, and the rings don't go all the way to the ends, so there's exposed cable at the end of the lane lines. And then just some other diving mats and a handbell for some of the other stuff in there.
So those are the more minor ones we need. What prices you can see, and obviously the major price on there is the bleachers, and then the concrete footings for the bleachers. If you combine the two, that's $250,000. But the bleachers would be all done. I mean, there'd be 3 big sets on the baseball field tied together, 3 big sets on the softball field, and then 2 extra smaller sets. Bring all the smaller sets of all the JV fields would have full bleachers. But that's the biggest cost is to finish that.
The one thing we did here at section playoffs last year was there's nowhere to sit.
Yeah. We did not have standing room all the way down both sides. And so, and then the other big ticket item on there is the nets. Now, softball just requested this a few days ago, and I don't know how many baseball softball lost. I can't speak for softball, but baseball, we lost thousands and thousands of dollars in baseballs this year. Jamie, maybe you have a specific number, like how many balls we exactly lost, something like
30 dozen.
Yes, typical season was about 6 dozen. We went through 29.
dozen balls this year.
Of just game balls, that's not practice balls.
Yeah, that's just game balls at $120 a dozen. So every time we lost the ball, my joke in the dugout was, there goes $12.
Yeah.
$12 flying over the dugout, so it's, but to get a net for that first baseball field, that's $88,000. Softball 1-1-2, when they gave us the same quote, I don't know if, I think we could work on that a little bit, and I'm not sure how many balls softball lost. And then the distance signs, I didn't get a quote on time for the board pack, but I did get some today. They're about $120 a sign. It can go from anywhere from $50 a sign to $300 a sign for your distance, depending on your material, what you want. I got a good one today from town here. For metal aluminum ones that would be very sturdy and last long, about $120 a sign. So I was thinking 5 signs on each baseball field, left field, left center, right field. And I think that softball are standard, it's 200 feet all around. So 1 in left, 1 in center, 1 in right. So 16 signs. So those are our needs. If we could use the FF&E budget for something we have to have, like team benches for the football team. Some yard work, so something you guys can consider. Questions on anything, can ask us.
With soccer, as we talk about soccer, the Rockridge Masabi East soccer team has 3 boys from Masabi East playing on it this year. All the rest are from Rockridge. 4 girls from Masabi East, I think, and all the rest are from Rockridge.
And he was right. We're going to need stuff, and we need fields too. I'd gladly consider keeping that football field over there to use as a practice field too. So, even though it's a little off topic here, but if we do host soccer, we got a lot of fields in use, and we're going to need more. No doubt. More teams, JV, varsity, girls.
Okay, so any questions for Chad? And
On the wish list, is there anything that is, well, you said the benches. Is there anything that can be put off, or all of it you're looking at is?
Anything can be put off. Anything that sticks out to me right now would be the netting on the softball. I don't think they lost that many softballs.
It wasn't as drastic as
the baseball.
They can retrieve them. They don't go that far, and there's a lot of swamp like it is for the baseball. Right. So, I mean.
Early in the spring, it was still quite wet down there, and that was running pretty good through there early in the spring.
Yeah.
But they did not lose as many as baseball.
And softballs don't go that far.
And to put this in context for members of the board, we knew this day was coming because when you build something, you never have enough money to do everything. And early on, the board, because of timing, made the decision to put the lights on. And we spent a lot of money on lights, but that was the time to do it because we needed to put them in that time rather than now. We knew we were short on the fields with some equipment. We knew it was coming, and we figured we'd just kind of work our way to getting it over a number of years, and maybe the booster clubs would help, which they have. Thankfully, with the board passing the additional bond money, you now have the funds to do this and to take care of these sports all at once in one big fell swoop, which we would do under FF&E. So that's why the Buildings and Grounds talked about, or that Activities Committee talked about it and suggested that these 2 gentlemen make a list of everything that was needed. This includes in the concession stands, so those are fully stocked because it wasn't all there. So that's why this list appears long right now. We knew we didn't have enough money. We deliberately made decisions to do the turf fields, put the lights on. So here we are. You made a decision to get additional bond money, and we're asking if you would like to finish and get it done right now.
Is there something that's being sacrificed in order to get these things done? No?
No.
Okay.
How was your process about like choosing the companies, the bids, and?
We kind of talked. We talked with Dr. Schmidt and Jamie. We were down there visiting the other day, trying to want to match it up. And a lot of these companies have already done a lot of this work, like the varsity and batting cages. We don't want another company to come in, and so really that's only for a lot of this is one company. For bleachers, for your big ticket items, it's the bleachers and the batting cages. It would be the same companies that did the work, so everything matches. It's the same stuff. Smaller items, we got quotes from local areas, and like I said, we can get more for the smaller ticket items. But those big ticket items is what.
This year, where are we, the boys and girls playing soccer?
Southeast.
We are going to try and host, if we can get goals, we're going to try and host 1 or 2 games here ourselves this year.
Okay.
They want to play their senior night here because all the seniors on the team are actually Rockridge kids.
Okay.
Senior from the Southeast.
Those are on Saturdays typically?
Well, they're throughout the week, but the 2 we were trying to host would probably be on Saturdays.
And this would be up on the new football field? So in the conversation earlier, you mentioned about the other fields, the other football field in Evelyn and the field next to it, I'm sure, but would there need to be like lines drawn up there? That's going to be an expense as well if we utilize the fields there?
We keep that stadium, keep track of it, keep track of it, I guess, with the grass and stuff. I ordered is paint. Just paint lines, it's not a terrible expense. You know, paint football lines, you paint soccer lines up there for practice. So.
The problem, members of the board, right now, we don't have bus drivers or maybe even a bus to get kids from here over to use the Evelyn Field. We certainly could use it for one more year. We talked to Bob Boss extensively. He does not have the drivers to get this done. Now,
We're not busing kids to Masabi East there, not right now?
No.
They're on their own? So it shouldn't be, but if they can get to Aurora, they can
right
get
now,
Evelyn.
we're only looking at this year right now, and you're hearing the conversation about the striping of the fields. Welcome to the world of should you stripe baseball fields. We absolutely can stripe our fields. What'll happen is it's called ghosting, is that you'll always see it there. So far, we have tried not to do that, and we've tried to go put up cones or do some other method, but I'm sure that's going to come down the road. You heard it come up today already, as far as do you want us to stripe one of the fields?
And I have to put it on a activity committee meeting coming up, just to start the conversation of what we can do.
Start talking about that. So you're not deciding that now, but it's going to be a conversation point.
So
you can easily practice on those fields without striping, my personal opinion, especially football. I mean, I got stuff down there, ready equipment for them, I put the yard markers out for them and stuff so they know where they are. But for soccer, I guess, I don't know, I'm not a soccer coach and I've never had soccer practice over here, so it might need some lines out there, I don't know.
So he talked about sponsorship banners and how we're not allowing sponsorship banners, or I feel we should.
Yeah, Willie.
Huh?
That might be an answer that Willie should.
No, that's separate from me, Tim. This
Is
is the
it?
Booster Club trying to
Yeah.
sell.
There was a discussion at admin meetings and at the extracurricular that we wanted to have all of the ads, we want to display their ads, don't get us wrong, we want to do it on the scoreboard. So throughout the game, their ads would be flashing up onto the scoreboard.
That's a good way.
Instead of taking up fence space. And that was a discussion that happened last year.
And Dr. Smith.
And we've been very consistent on this. When you look at all the fields, you don't see local advertising except for those who put big money on the fields. And we've been very consistent with that way. And so we're trying to follow the process. We're trying to keep the fields clean of some of this advertising. We think we can do this another way.
I would like to see, I hate to interrupt, but I really don't want to be alienating any of our small businesses or companies that are, really helping us out in many different aspects. I mean, from, the discussion that Willie had, with people coming from businesses like Essentia to come and help our kids, with project-based learning, the academies and things. I don't want to see us alienating any businesses. So whatever we do, if we don't want to put the big banners on the fences for whatever reason, then we need to come up with a good solution that they're comfortable with as well in advertising their business.
To me, what they're saying they're going to do is advertise on the big boards electronically, and more people will see that.
Wait, just typically, like you instead of the banners, I'm sorry.
No.
So instead of the banners, those same people would be advertised on the big, okay.
Yeah, so
That's feasible to you, or?
I would be in favor of, to me, I would just say, to see it on the board, I don't know. I mean, I think people.
I think it'd be pretty cool, yeah.
But if they want to buy a banner like we did, I'm going to say, I hate to say it, but back in Gilbert, we sold banners and it was a very, very lucrative for the booster clubs to have these banners. It paid off very well.
So at this moment in time, do we have, you're talking like an electronic TV type of deal, like what they have at the hockey games and stuff, right? That's what you guys want. But are we anywhere near having that?
We're near.
So we can.
Do it for Thursday's game, or no?
All we need is the signs.
All we need is a JPEG.
Okay.
Okay.
Plugged into a thumb
To me,
drive.
that's more classy than having banners. Yeah, I know it's lucrative. Back in Virginia's day, I did it for all three of the sports, baseball, football, and hockey. And now you make a lot of money, but you also clutter things up.
But you gotta take it where you can get it, though. That's how to offset the
But
cost.
the thing is we have these electronic boards now. I mean, and if they go through a rolling pattern of when they are putting the advertisement up, people are gonna see it everywhere. And if it's on TV, they're gonna see it on TV.
They actually did that for basketball a little bit last year with Gilbert, and I appreciated that. I thought it was pretty cool. So I like it, and I mean, being part of a small business, I think that's, I would like.
We're not against the signs.
No.
It's not our call. We're just following what we're instructions.
Maybe it's a discussion
off topic.
Yeah, we are a little.
Discussion
bit off
that
topic.
the activities meeting
Yeah.
should have, maybe it's something, a meeting, maybe they can talk about an activities committee. Okay, but,
I would make a motion to approve this, aside from the softball netting. I just don't,
Wait, we have to decide what color benches though. Do we want aluminum or black?
Are you kidding me? We've already been told, from what I understand, they only can be black. Is that right?
I was told we should get black.
And I'm saying.
I'm for black.
If you want to keep things classy, you do black.
Yep.
Because the net, everything is black down there.
so we got a motion by Director Yuan, supported by Director Addy to approve 8.1. Any discussion?
With which benches?
The black?
Black,
The motion is for the black benches?
black, yeah.
and then softball is
Taken out.
Hold off a minute.
off, maybe for
Okay,
one more.
right.
My motion was without softball, just to, maybe a little more because it was last minute.
Okay, so I'll like that friendly amendment. I'll approve that. So we got motion by Director Yuan, support by Director Addy to approve 8.1 for black benches and no netting on the softball.
Yep,
And the benches again are the football field, the football benches.
yep.
Any more discussion?
One more thing, where are we at with the dugout fences that weren't done yet? That guy was gonna do those all summer and he,
Mike, did the guy come in this fall to do the JV dugouts?
Yes, I'm expecting him anytime, actually. He's gonna do the JV dugouts.
he had some tool malfunctions last time, did we?
Yeah, he figured that out for the second round of us,
Okay,
for the varsity stuff, with a better method.
okay.
Okay, any more discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes unanimously. 8. Thanks, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Consider facilities use agreement between Rockridge Schools and the City of Evelyn and the City of Virginia. Mr. Hazelton.
In my mind, we just need to get this done. One thing that I did clarify while we were sitting here is the City of Virginia is going to bill us monthly. They're only billing for actual hours used. Okay, so it does say that we're committing to 350 or whatever. We're committing at that price point. And then if we don't use the hours in late March, we're not going to be billed for the hours in late March.
And
That's right.
I was just thinking, as the speaker was speaking earlier today, regarding the 150 versus the 175, as a person from the general public asking to use the facility for an hour for ice time, I'm assuming that doesn't include locker rooms, it doesn't include the training facilities, so those additional things are what's driving up the price a little bit by
Base
$25.
price point, I think, is like $109 or $117. And then everything above that is the locker rooms, the coaches' facility, the training room facility.
Yeah.
So that other stuff is added on there at an extra cost.
And those things-
Is like $117 or something, if I remember correctly.
And those things, I assume, wouldn't be involved with somebody just calling for an hour of ice time for a birthday party.
And it's two sheets of ice at that price, right?
Yes.
Okay, so we're not getting just one.
Boys and girls hockey will practice simultaneously on both sheets of ice, and alternate big rink, little rink.
Okay. Thanks.
I'll make a motion.
Motion by Director Reardon,
Support.
support by Director Lotiger. Any more discussion? All in in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes unanimously. 8.3, consider approval of the district crisis management plan. Can I get a motion?
We have a presenter.
Oh, I'm sorry, Todd.
Sorry, just came for a quick minute.
Okay.
To present this to you, all
I've been
a
missing.
copy of the crisis management plan. I just wanted to let you know, it did go through a lot of different people, a lot of different entities helping us out. Want to have a special thanks to the Minnesota School Safety Center. We had those folks up here from the metro area a couple different times, going through our buildings. They work directly with the Department of Homeland Security as well. And then bulk of our crisis plan did come from that entity, and they've gone through it with us as well. So they approve of that as well. We will, as soon as you approve this, we will get this out to classrooms, 3-hole punched in a nice binder, so it's accessible to all of our teachers, and we'll have tabs on it for each individual section. I think that's it for the crisis manual. There's one thing I want to bring up about school resource officers. Right now, or the legislature this year passed some laws about police officers and doing prone restraints in public schools, and specifically school resource officers. And currently there's a little bit of a controversy going on around school resource officers and being able to restrain students if they should so need to. And so currently our school resource officer has been put on hold. A lot of school districts around the state are facing the same issue at the time. So I think this is an issue that's not ours specifically, but our school resource officer at this moment is in place and hired, but not will not be on active duty until this situation is taken care of with the legislature. So I just want to bring that up. If there's any questions that you have, I'd be happy to answer.
Any questions for Mr. Grippentrog? All right. Thanks, Todd.
Thanks, Todd.
Thank you.
Can I get a motion to approve 8.3?
I'll make the motion.
Motion by Director Lotiger.
I'll second.
Support by Director Colbert-Dahl. Any more discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes unanimously. 8.4, consider approval of Rockridge Paraprofessional Handbook 2023 to 2024. Mark Winter.
As we're starting the school year, the principals got together and we've been discussing it. We discussed it last year as well about having a paraprofessional handbook. Just a guideline to let parents see and to look at, just so that they have some guidelines and some understanding a little bit more what their job duties are, some different language, a little bit of different types of things, just to have it combined in one handbook that we can provide our paraprofessionals as we hire them or as they start the new year. So that is what this handbook is, and I entertain any questions.
Any questions for Mr. Winter?
I do have a question. There is talk about mandated reporting in the handbook. How is the school district training the staff on mandated reporting?
All staff is required. We also have to train. There is a video, we do it through Kinetech, that all staff watch at some point within the first so many days of the school year.
So if somebody gets hired in the middle of a school year, they'll receive that training again
Yes.
as well?
That's part of there's new legislation as far as for paraprofessionals, and that 6 hours of training has to happen prior to the first day of school or within the first, I believe it's 30 days of their employment. So that will be all part of that training for every para now.
Is some of this done through teachers on call? Some of the training aspects are all through us?
All through us.
Okay.
Any more questions for Mr. Winter? Thanks, Mark.
Yep, thank you.
So can I get a motion to approve 8.4?
Make the motion.
Motion by Director Yuhan. Support?
Support.
By Director Lotiger. Any more discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Motion passes unanimously. 8.5, consider approval FF&E for the Rockridge High School. Mr. Hoag is up.
Good evening. Thanks for having me. Hey, Mike.
Mike,
You should have the paperwork in front of you. The first one is from Hilliard, and this is for cleaning equipment in our new high school. This is focused for the high school right now. Hilliard, just a little background, they are a state contract, they have the state contract pricing, so that's all approved. So if you want to go buy a vacuum cleaner, you don't have to get 3 bids type of thing, so we should be good to go. If you list on that whole list there, it has quite a bit of things, but when you look at that, that has all the newer equipment to make us more efficient, faster, clean better, the whole 9 yards. So the staff we currently have, they'll be able to cover more area, get it done. So it's really a good thing. Everything there is basically battery now, getting rid of the cord so you don't have to go all the way down the hall, unplug and come all the way back. I mean, just to speed up everything. So if you look through there, it kind of tells you what everything is, and hopefully you can understand what they say. But that's that on that. Any questions on that?
What's the first thing, the Trident? What does that mean?
That is a ride-on vacuum cleaner. So like in the learning wings where there's a lot of carpeting, you can cover an area versus that old way we used to do it. So.
Stand on the back and.
Yep, and it increases the time immensely. You still have to vacuum the corners, and then if you go down there, we also went on for backpack vacuums. So a person with a battery, they're moving the whole time. It's not, and it's better on the person for injuries or comp stuff. I mean, it's in the auditoriums, in between the seats. Can you imagine trying to vacuum that?
yeah, it's
You know,
more
I mean,
efficient.
And if you take a leaf blower and blow it, it's all over the place, and you gotta do it again. You know, and even like in the bleachers of the gym. So it's really, I mean, most schools are going this way. I put on there 5 of them, and that's so we have enough to move around through the building.
There's 4 Tridents, yes.
No, 5 backpacks.
5 backpacks,
okay.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and then there's a couple battery uprates that I thought probably like maybe in the principal's area, them offices there. And the other one's the bigger one's a floor scrubber?
Yes.
Yeah, right on.
Yep.
And the background for this one, members of the board, is very similar to activities. You don't have money to buy everything. So now that the board passed the bond, all these things you're seeing listed, we were just going to kind of piecemeal over the years and try and acquire them. And so we asked Mike to make a list of everything that custodians need now to become more efficient. So we're bringing this before you to see if you are interested in giving permission from Mike to get everything right now that the custodians need so they can do a little bit better job cleaning.
I will.
The one thing I do want you to be aware of, we have went through our older buildings. We're utilizing everything we can. So we brought equipment over. Some of the stuff that's beyond help, we're not using, but like some of the better equipment is in use in the building right now. So it's not like we just took everything and threw it aside.
Yeah.
Trying to save as much as we can.
I'll make the motion.
I just have one more.
Oh, go ahead.
I just have one question, and it's just because I just want to know what I'm voting for. It says MOP, pocket premium, so that's a MOP, that's a MOP, right?
Okay, what that is, see, everything is kind of going microfiber. Okay?
Oh, sure.
And it's just, if you take and you do like, just for example, you're mopping with the old style with the bucket, you're mopping, you're throwing dirty water down a lot of times and putting it on it. This microfiber takes away that. That's why when you look through this list, you'll see a little bit of that throughout the whole thing. There's different sizes of them. I've seen it work. We're currently using, we tried a few things over there, and it actually makes a big difference.
And I talked to a custodian at the high school today, and they were so excited that they might get these because it's a problem cleaning the bathrooms, and this was going to help them a lot. They were so excited.
Well, that's a good thing then.
So
Yeah.
they said, they were basically saying, please, school board, get these for us.
You know, and if you look down there too, there is a bathroom cleaner device that when you go in the bathroom, the old days of cleaning the bowls and all the spray bottle and all this stuff, this machine just does everything, and you're more sanitary, you're more everything. The time is like cut in half, so it's not even that expensive actually.
Is that Chariot or what is?
No, that's a ride-on. You'll see it, there's, I think, 4 of them. Where, I'm trying to look where they're. Right, I think it's the 5th one down, 4th one down.
Oh.
But it's just a new way a better way of doing what we gotta do. Because it is gonna be a big building, it's gonna be a big task, and a little bit better equipment will help.
We want to take care of it, you know,
We have.
for the best we can.
We have to take care of it.
Mr. Chair?
I'd like to make the motion
I'll second
to
it.
accept the
Motion by Director Lotiger,
quote from Hilliard.
support by Director Reardon to accept 8.5. For discussion, I will just say that when I went to Alexandria a long time, years back, to their high school and I toured that, there was an accord to be found on any of their equipment. So with that, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes unanimously. 8.6, consider approval of a forklift quote. Mike, you want to speak to that?
Yeah, you have 3 quotes, well, actually 6 quotes, but from 3 different companies. Now, what I did was, I got a 5,000 and a 3,500. Okay, that's your lifting, how much you can lift. I recommend the 3,500, not to say I'm any expert or anything, but for what we're doing, and what we're moving, because we put that pallet racking in, we have to be able to get up. And we got trucks coming all the time, and a lot of them aren't going to all the loading docks. They might go down to the fields, they might go to the maintenance garage, and, you know, we got pallets of stuff, and we've been trying to unload by hand, and it's just not working. We do need a forklift. And that 3,500, we rented one for a little bit this summer, and it was a blessing. It was a great machine. And that's why, if you look on these, I don't know if you, got my little yellow note, I don't think that probably went to the printer, but, the one from Forklifts of Minnesota, that one, we did have that one year. That one, I thought was a great machine. If you look at it, that one's comparative pricing with the others. And the best thing about that, the lead time of that isn't like what you have on. There's this one that's comparatively priced with that, and I think it's from, not Fairchild, the other one.
We see.
Yeah. But their lead time when we would see that is 40 weeks. I mean, that's, you know.
Theirs also doesn't have solid pneumatic tires, which the forklift in Minnesota one does. That's a difference in price right
I tried
there.
to get, you know, where we did apples and apples, not, so the bids would be kind of good, but this one from the Forklifts of Minnesota, I looked at all the options, it's everything we need, and I think it's the one.
So 8.6, I'll make the motion.
Oh, she had.
I just have a question. What all do we use the forklift for? I mean, that we wouldn't use the,
Like a regular pallet?
yeah, pallet jack.
Well, you see, we do use them because we have loading docks. And they come and drop them on the loading dock, and we'll haul them to where we gotta go, like in the receiving down there. But when we get a semi that comes in and they don't have a tailgate drop, then we gotta basically unload it by hand. And then you gotta call out, you know, everybody that's working, pull them off their jobs, get them down there, unload it. They could hurt the back. We had one slip on the ice last winter. It's all time, it's all the whole thing. And I know we're building loading docks in our buildings, so a person might think we don't need this. But when it comes to the fields, like the football field, I mean, we're getting athletic equipment in or stuff, it's going down there. And there's no loading dock down there. So that's one. The other thing is we're getting pellets of salt, we're getting pellets of fertilizer, it's a constant thing.
So then my second question is, when you're unloading down in the fields with one of those forklifts, will that do damage to the field, or you just
No, this-
have a way to get in there?
What we would do is that we, on our maintenance garage down there, we unload there and put in the garage, and then we distribute in our pickups or wherever to where it's gotta go, after you take it off. And if you looked in that garage down there, we put pallet racking in there, and it's up maybe 18 feet. So we're lifting up pallets, like you'd see in a big store. So we have to be able to get up, because we got all of our stuff off the ground. It's really organized, it looks quite nice in there, actually.
Using your space better.
Yeah.
Much better use of space
Yeah,
on the floor.
Early June, you can walk in there. Now it's like, nice. But we have to be able to. And even in the baseball storage and some of the other one, the football storage, we are putting them racks on the side so we can put stuff up. So it will be a piece of equipment that will be used.
I always thought too, it'd be a good thing to have one of our instructors be a train the trainer and sort of certify our students as forklift operators. If they wanted to do that, it'd be another feather in their cap as far as for the academy style.
Yes. Yeah, there's all kinds of.
And members of the board, the other reason you might want to consider doing this is it's just safer. It's safer for your custodians. You run away less of a risk of injury. Your workers' comp, you're not paying as much on that one. So that's the other, it's just safer moving some of this big stuff around.
Where are we storing these? Where is it being stored?
Well, currently right now, we put it down in maintenance. Then as winter comes, we'll see where we'll put it.
I think you can put it in the shop class too. If it's got loads for material for their projects, be a great thing to help unload.
I mean, even like loading stuff into the back of a pickup. You know what I mean? I mean, that helps. It's just.
It's the right tool for the job.
Yep. Lots of stuff went into the back of my van with a forklift. Believe me. So, any more discussion on 8.6? With none being had, can I get a motion? I will make that motion. Can I get support to approve 8.6?
Which quote?
The recommended.
The recommended quote, yes.
I'll support.
Okay, support by Culver Dahl. Okay, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed?
I abstain.
Okay, so the motion passes 5-0 and 1. Okay.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Thanks, Mike.
8.7, consider soliciting bids for the demolition of the Gilbert School building.
Is there, Mike, one more thing. Is there anything you need for outside to maintain? Do you have everything you need to maintain the grounds?
Well, I do have a couple things, but I'm waiting on a little bit of pricing.
Okay.
I was hoping to come see you again.
All right.
Yeah.
You're welcome to come see us again.
Okay, great.
Okay, well.
I'll be back.
This item, members of the board, we've talked about this for a long time. The MOU that you had with Wolf's Head, they were here, they were interested in it. That has expired. You do not have a purchase offer from them. Unfortunately, the gentleman who was most interested passed away. He was the elderly gentleman.
Oh, he did.
He passed away, and so that's caused them to struggle a little bit. So I did talk to Mike from Wolf's Head. He knows I'm asking you this question tonight. They could come up with an offer for you, but in the meantime, I'm asking the board, should we go out and get bids to demolish the Gilbert building? The Director Addy and I, we talked to the mayor of Gilbert again about this. The city of Gilbert is not interested in the building. You do not have a buyer. The city of Gilbert does not have anyone who's interested in the building. I'm asking for permission for us to go out and get bids to demolish the Gilbert building. Doesn't mean we're going to demolish it, but then the bids would come back to the board here, and then you would need to make a decision as far as what you wanted to do. That way you would know the pricing, how much it would cost, and it's kind of the next logical step. We've tried thing, and we just can't find a suitable buyer for it.
Suitable buyer, how about just a buyer in general?
But we want a suitable buyer too.
We demolish everything but the bus garage?
Yep.
The bus garage would stay, and the city of Gilbert wants us to keep the tennis courts.
Tennis courts, yep.
And the city of Gilbert is removing the playground equipment, so that would not be part of the demo.
I did hear from one of the neighbors that there are broken windows, they found some drug paraphernalia on the steps, and it kind of seems like it's a gathering spot for some unsavory,
Yeah.
Yep, I agree.
And
groups, so I'd make that motion to
A motion by Director Yuhan.
get bids for the take her down.
Can I get support?
I thought you said you supported.
Well, I will.
I already put you down.
All right, okay. The discussion, we're in this discussion right now. I mean, there's going to have to be a sale. There's like lots of stuff in there. I don't know what the timeline will be in regards to this because we're coming into the winter months. You know, I mean, you don't want people in there when it's cold. The floors will be slippery. You know, there's stuff in the auditorium that were paid for by local residents throughout the district that remodeled the auditorium seats. I mean, stuff like that. You know what I'm talking about. I mean, there's probably a lot of salvage that'll have to come out of there.
Probably no different than what has happened
Right.
in Virginia, so.
Exactly.
Right. Just, you
We'll
know.
follow the same process.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
But it's summertime versus wintertime. You know what I'm saying? That's the problem with that. Unless you move quick.
I was going to say, if you keep talking, it'll be spring. Sorry, Bill.
Okay, that's my discussion part. Any more discussion on that?
He didn't ask any questions about the HVAC, which I was shocked.
I know.
No. Why? Because I did my homework. I studied that. Before I got here.
Right in your sweet spot.
Yeah. Any more discussion on 8.7? Okay, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes unanimously. 8.8, consider approval for the work agreement with Andrea Lintel, Business Manager. You want to speak to that?
Yes, we, as you know, Spencer Ani is gone. He is no longer employed by Rockridge Schools. We recommended Andrea, after an extensive interviewing process, we recommended Andrea for the position. You approved her position. However, the salary was left not decided yet. So the negotiating committee met with Andrea. They talked back and forth, and this is what happened with all of the individuals on individual contracts. And this is the agreement that your committee came up with Andrea, and both parties are recommending this go forward. This is about $25,000 less than what Spencer was making, so it is not the same level of money. And part of that was because when the old Virginia and Evelyn Gilbert districts came together, Spencer's salary went up by $25,000 because of the complexities of that. That is gone. So just, you know, this is not the same salary. This is $25,000 less than what Spencer was making.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second it.
Motion by Director Rudin, supported by Director Westby. Any more discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes unanimously. 8.9, consider approval request from North Elementary to include the 3 days early at the end of the school year for the staff to have time to move into the new building.
I will make that motion.
I will second.
Motion by Director Lotiger, support by Culver Dahl. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes unanimously. Meeting announcements. Our next regular board meeting will be September 11th, 2023, at 6 p.m. here in the administrative building. Can I get a motion to adjourn?
So
Can I
moved.
just
Go ahead.
say the drive coming up looks great. The road is wonderful.
It is.
Perfect.
Okay, so we got a motion by who?
I made a motion.
Reardon?
I'll second it.
Second by Director Westby. All those in favor to adjourn signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Nobody's got to oppose.